What up, guys? It occurred to me that with all the summer shenanigans I've been doing, I actually did not go over the new favorite items, so let me actually do that today so I don't get grief. Now, unfortunately, I'm kind of cooked with a lot of favorite items. I need to get some of these up. I feel like spamming a bunch of molds from the shop is probably the way to go, so I might have to do that during the what's-her-face Alex summons, but I actually got told this on stream while I was streaming the Dorothy summons. You can actually check people's favorite items here. I forgot that you could do that, so this tells you the details for that. Now, I'm pretty sure every favorite item just gives you like kind of one of these buffs where you get some cover up, damage taken, and some boosted damage. Yeah, depending on which gun you have. So like, I'm pretty sure this is for a sniper. I think, who's this? Yeah, Milk. Milk's got a sniper, so she's got that thing. This is a shotgun, so you just get that. I'm pretty sure everybody gets this, like I've said before. But anyways, here with Polly stuff. So her skill 1 got buffed by giving this. So instead of, let's see, instead of 5 normal attacks, it's when performing 5 normal attacks. I'm pretty sure that's just like if you miss, or I guess if it gets blocked. I'm not sure what counts as 5 normal attacks. Like it gets hit, so maybe if it doesn't get like blocked, then it counts. But now I think it's just whatever. Even if you miss, you'll get this, which is cool. You get a free shield when entering battle, I believe. Yeah, this is just for her. Oh, this is where she gets the police badge. I was reading this a little bit just to see what I could say potentially, and I was like, where did she get some of this stuff from? Okay, so this police badge, let's see, it lasts for 10 seconds. Okay. I imagine that just goes away once she loses it or like takes damage, but let's see. So this is her burst. Also, they like made it so weird. Like phase 2 is her burst skill, phase 3 is skill 2. For who's this? This is for Tove. For Tove, it's skill 1 and then her burst skill and then her skill 2. Wait, is that for everybody? No, yeah, like right here. For Julia's, skill 2 gets buffed first, then it's the skill 1s get buffs, and then the burst skill. Like, they just randomly doing that shit. That shit's like bugging me out. I was reading it and it was like, I was just lost. Anyways, what was I saying? The burst skill, right? So if she still has that shield, which means she's in the police badge, she actually gains this, which I'm pretty sure it's like a survivability thing, like an invulnerable, I guess. Also, I didn't know this, I just figured this out while I was reading it earlier, but if you click it, it actually tells you. So essentially what this does is if you take a hit that would kill, it will leave her at 1 HP. This doesn't count for, I believe, like wipes from bosses, but if it's like a big snipe from an enemy that would have killed Polly, it would leave her at 1 HP, I'm pretty sure. So that's kind of neat, I suppose. And then she just gets a shield, let's see, which protects all allies from damage for 10 seconds. So I believe that's everybody. They buffed this to 40%. It used to be 22. Let's see. I believe that is it. Yeah, this is unchanged. So it's just the invuln, I guess. And then they buffed the shield percentage. So that's cool. Oh, I didn't go over this, but I'll show you guys in a second. Most of these are burst 1, 2. And then I believe Julia's the only burst 3. So I think it's 2 burst 2s, and then Tove's burst 1, and then Julia's a burst 3 that got buffed. So these are pretty interesting. I doubt they're going to be replacing any big hitters from your team, like, you know, Siren or Litter or Crown, but it's nice to have, so that's cool, I guess. Anyways, her skill 2 right here. Oh wait, give me a second. Looks like the cooldown didn't go down at all. Makes sense. Also, 40-second cooldown is pretty devious for a burst 2, so you're definitely gonna have to need to take another one. Just keep that in mind. Anyways, let's see. I believe this is the same. Affect self or 2 allies with the lowest remaining HP. Affect self or 2 other ally units with the lowest HP. I believe this just makes it so that it doesn't proc on the same people. Like, it checks if the HP, like the current HP, what value that is, and then it procs. Not really sure. Oh, and then she has the equal damage taken. So many of these units have this for some reason. I'm not sure how good this is. I would honestly just prefer one unit have a taunt and then give herself like defense or a shield so she can take the hits instead of this. But I mean, this is cool, I suppose. Alright, and then when the police bash ends, she just regens some HP. Now, I believe that's just when this shield ends, so I'm not really sure what that's for. Because her HP will be enough, I guess. I mean, I guess if the shield gets damaged too much that it starts digging into her HP, I suppose this will proc that. Affects self continuously, regen 5% of casters. Yeah, I think this is just HP. I don't think this will, like, give you a shield. At least I think so. Anyways, alright, well, pretty interesting. I don't think she's the worst. A lot of defense, but honestly, I feel like this game, you definitely don't want to only be defense. Especially, even if you're like a burst 1 or 2 and you're trying to be util, I feel like having a buff is probably nice. Granted, she does do buffs, right? But 40 seconds is kind of unfortunate. I feel like she probably will be useful if you want to run like, I mean, I guess if you don't have crown, you can probably do crown plus crown. You can probably do this Poli plus Naga, maybe. She does give this. Granted, it is 40 seconds, so you're going to be going back and forth. But, I mean, if you want to pair up with another burst 2 that could help, I guess this isn't the worst. But yeah, I would prefer, honestly, if these favorite items would have a bit more buffs, or like more niche stuff, like maybe tack on, I don't know, buff reload speed, or I don't know, give him a taunt, or give him something, you know? I do like this. Granted, she already had this, the damage buff, but I guess they just thought this was enough and just wanted to buff her shields, but oh well. Now, let's see. Who's next? Tove? Now, I briefly mentioned Tove in the Dorothy showcase, right? But I'll go over this really quick. Essentially, they kind of didn't buff too much of this stuff. They kind of just removed the RNG mechanic of this skill 1. So, originally, her skill 1 actually only had a chance to proc every time she attacks. It was a 5% chance. It was just gambling. But now, it's guaranteed after 10 normal attacks. So if you hit 10 normal attacks, it'll just proc this. So they just took out the gambling aspect of it, you could say. They didn't change the percentages or anything like that. They just took away that part, which honestly is not that bad. So this, you could honestly just get her favorite item to phase 1, and then you're gaming, bro. I'm not gonna lie. This is her burst skill, so this is not too bad. 20 seconds, so it's not great. Granted, this is a burst 1. I feel like if you're burst 1 and you don't have a 20-second cooldown, you're griefed. Oh my goodness. Like, who is that? Was it fucking Sora that's burst 1 in his troll? Like, dude, I don't understand how they could make a burst 1 be 40 seconds. That shit's gotta be illegal. Anyways, yeah, looks like the only thing they changed for this is how long the effect lasts. So right here, it used to last for 10 seconds, but now it lasts for 15 seconds. So not too much of a difference. However, this does help. I will go over why that is a bit later, but let's go to the skill 2 first. Now this also didn't change like almost at all. It just bumped up the crit rate a bit up, which I mean is cool. I'll take it. And they also, by the way, I didn't pay attention to this before, like during the Dorothy showcase, but they actually changed the distinction for the second half of this skill. So it says affects all shotgun wielding allies instead of affects all allies with a shotgun. Now first, I didn't think that would be important, like at all. However, I actually remembered that, what's her face? Kay, actually when she bursts, she switches from a SMG to a shotgun. So I believe this passive should proc on Kay because it says shotgun wielding allies. At least I assume that's why they made this distinction, which I think is really nice for them to make stuff like this, especially if they want to introduce more like substitute gun wielders, I guess, or maybe dual wielders, something like that. I believe the only units that switch their guns from like burst, I know Lapis does it. She gets like the laser, and then Does Snow White do it too? I think Snow White might do it. And then obviously Kay, the recent one, when she bursts, she gets her shock. And so I believe this will activate for her, which is nice. I do wish they would introduce some more variety with some of these units. Obviously, we just got the overspec, but I think changing weapons mid-match would be cool. Units that transform could be cool. Dual units, like 2 units in one. I don't know how that would work, but it would be cool if they made that work somehow. But anyways, this is actually really nice. I wish they would give her like reload speed or something. Maybe that'd be a little too much, but it is pretty interesting running her team, like Shotgun team. I said this in the showcase, but she does not have CDR, and CDR as a burst one kind of limits your usefulness like a lot. So I feel like giving her, I don't know, maybe reload speed or a bit more damage buff somewhere is probably nice. Oh, I didn't realize they also switched this right here, shotgun wielding allies. Okay, well this will also affect someone like Kay, so that is cool. But yeah, I feel like they could have added a little bit more. I still think she'll be nice, but not having CDR is still quite unfortunate. Or like burst generation. They could have given burst generation on here too, since the shotgun team kind of lacks that as well. But I think you can get around that if they release a unit kind of like the Sona Bunny unit, because she extends the burst duration, I think, by 5 seconds, so it kind of cancels out the CDR. If they release like a new unit that does that for like shotgun, that's really, really nice, or at least modern, I think that team could be pretty good. But anyways, that's enough blabbling on about Tove. In case you're wondering, I am more excited about Tove than any of the other people, so I can't help myself. Now, here we have Julia's, I believe, right? Yeah, now Julia's in a weird spot because she's a burst 3 attacker, and like I said before, and I'm gonna keep saying this, we've gotten so many damn burst 3 attackers this year alone. It's actually wild, like, how much these guys really think that we need this many, and people are going to continue summoning. I'm still gonna make a video on that because that shit is wild. I think we are like 5 this year, 6 quote-unquote high value burst 3. So very interesting way they're running this year. But anyways, so her skill 2 is what gets procced first. So let's see, it looks like it used to be a last bullet mechanic, and they changed that to after landing 6 crits. So when she lands 6 crits, it looks like it's the same buff, but they also added when you land 8 crits, it deals final damage. Marcato, it's called. Interesting. And then if it looks like this can crit, so if that crits, it'll deal even more damage. So you definitely want to build crit on her. Interesting. And then when entering battle, effect self forcefully uses skill 1. I believe it's this one, right? Yeah, decrescendo. So this will buff her crit rate for 10 seconds. It looks like they increase the damage and the normal attack, so her auto crit rate is also up. I guess this will help for the, what did I say this was called? Marcato? Whatever that is. It'll help boost that crit so you can do even more damage. The only thing I don't know is if this will keep proccing, right? Because this only lasts for 10 seconds, her skill 1 decrescendo. So I'm not sure if it'll proc, or maybe like depending on the cooldown it'll proc after that, but it does say effects. I think that is how it works. It just says effect self, and it says it's an active 20 seconds, so maybe it's every 20 seconds it reprocs. I'm not quite sure how that works. But let's see, her burst 3 affects 5 enemy units, so now it affects random enemies. I guess this makes it better. I'm not really sure what the distinction, let's see, with highest final defense. Yeah, I'm not really sure the distinction of deals this amount of damage. Oh, I guess it makes it so if you're going against a boss, it hits it 5 times instead of it only hitting once, right? I think that's how it works. Okay, never mind. That is a better choice of wording then. Okay, well, hopefully whenever they do like this final damage stuff, they just change the wording to attack sequentially, because I think if they don't have this, it will kind of be awkward for them against bossing, I think is what they're going for. But anyways, let's see. And then it got the same thing. Affects the same target, and this is when Crescendo is fully stacked. It's just final attack damage. Looks like that's not different. They just changed this to make... I'm pretty sure this should help her with bossing. Because it looks like this could probably only hit one person, right? Because it says affects 5 enemy units. So if you're going against a boss, I imagine it's only going to proc once. So this will definitely proc 5 times, and it'll get hit by 5 times of that. So that is cool. I probably will try to do a showcase on all these units. I am way behind on trying to get favorite items, so I'm going to prioritize Tove. So we'll see. But, I mean, this is a burst 3. I don't know, man. And doing high investment into a burst 3 when I feel like you can probably just wait till a new one comes out in case you're already looking for one. I mean, the chances are, no, you're not going to be looking for a new burst 3 attacker, right? I mean, you might be. And there is some value to some niche options. For example, the new Dorothy that came out is, I mean, well needed for high-level water-weak bosses. Don't get me wrong, but, like, I don't know. I feel like it still is such a weird thing to have the 5th Burst 3 in a row this year, I guess. Well, I guess not in a row, but you know what I mean. High-value Burst 3. Especially since she's limited, by the way. I didn't really go over how she's 1% banner and unlimited, which is kind of unfortunate and awkward. I feel like you shouldn't even summon on it if you actually want her. You should just pity her and just dip. Of course, I'm summoned because I'm a degenerate. Granted, I got lucky and got her first multi, but that was also not the wisest, I will admit. Alright, finally, I believe this is Baze. Now, Baze was actually bugged. I mentioned this on stream while I was doing the summons, but she was actually bugged where it made her useless. I think it was like either the skills weren't proccing at all, or they were like bugging out to where it was giving her like 0% stacks or something. They fixed that pretty fast. I think the next time I checked the website, they're like, oh yeah, we fixed it, so you guys can chill. But, okay, this was the same. I don't know why I clicked that. Phase 1. Okay, see, I don't know why they don't do this. This starts with the skill 1, and then you buff the skill 2, and then it's the burst over here. Bunch of weirdos. Anyways, her skill 1. So this got changed. I don't think at all, right? Let's see. Proportional share damage taken. Yeah, this didn't get changed at all. They just got added this. Let's see. Activates when performing a full charge attack. Just some health regen. This is kind of nice. Granted, I think she's also 40% or 40-second cooldown burst 2, rather. Let's see. Also, she has a lot of this, what's it called? Like, damage taken, share damage. I believe this is just she'll take the damage. Granted, I think I mentioned this before. I would prefer if she just would rather have a taunt and then, you know, shield herself or buff herself. Granted, you know, the taunts isn't the end-all be-all against AoE attacks or stuff like that, but I don't know. This is pretty interesting. Actually, I wonder if this will be good for PvP. In case you weren't aware, I am not considering PvP with anything of these. So in case they're actually broken for PvP, let me know, because I'm not the best voice for that. But anyways, let's see what got changed. Effects when using burst skill only if self is alive. Affects self cover. Did this get changed? So before, let's see, it just shared the damage if alive, affects all allies. I believe it's this, no? Affects when using burst skill, or activates rather, only if self is alive, affects self cover. Oh, it makes it so her cover takes the damage. Oh, I see. Okay, that's actually pretty interesting then. Is that how it did before? Wait, no, it just takes her. So I imagine you can still shoot, and the cover will take the damage anyways? I believe. Okay, anyways, let's see. Activates when full burst ends. Continually recovers cover. Equal blah blah blah. This looks like the same, right? Oh, I see how they originally wanted you to do it. You would activate the burst, but then you would like play as her and cover, I assume? So that the cover would take the damage? Because this doesn't make the distinction that the cover takes the damage. This does. So I feel like even if you are not in cover and you're shooting, I think the cover will take the damage, not you. So that's actually better than I originally read it. Let's see. Activates when entering burst 1 and self cover is destroyed. Effective activates self. Recovers some HP. Okay, so if your cover's burst, or your cover is destroyed and you're burst 1 in, it looks like you'll get some health regen. So if she's getting railed, it looks like she'll heal herself. Okay, that's not too bad. And I think, yeah, another 40 seconds. Let's see. I don't think this got changed too much. It looks like activate itself if self cover is destroyed. This is pretty cool, the rebuild cover. Originally, I thought they could have made this not only a 1 per battle, but I didn't realize that's how her skill 2 worked, where the cover will always take the damage. So I think this is probably fine. Granted, I mean, I feel like you could have gotten one more, because I don't think she has much damage boost in her kit. If anything, it's just like defense and healing, which, like I said before, I would prefer if burst 2s or burst 1s would also give buffs, not only healing, because I don't really think defense is that valuable in this game, at least compared to, you know, damage, which, I mean, duh, but, you know, very interesting topic to cover. Maybe I'll go over that one of these days, but let's see. Anyways, yeah, blah, 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 cover health, max HPF cover. This is pretty nice. I don't think this has changed. Yeah, and then this isn't changed either. So her burst, they just gave it so that she can rebuild her cover once, which is pretty nice because of this skill 2 that they changed, but they could have gave some damage buff, methinks, especially since it's 40 seconds. I feel like if you're gonna make a burst 2 40 seconds, even though most of this meta is probably using 2 burst 2s on your team, right? I feel like we can give a bit more. But, oh well, I guess not every unit has to be crown, right? I guess that's the only reason I'm tough on these units is because they're not crowned, because the crown's way too broken. Also, I forget that these favorite items always have, like, the special animation that plays. I need to remember to do that before I do the showcases, so hopefully I don't forget. I totally didn't do it for these two, so maybe I'll go back and do it, but it's still probably going to be a really long time until I get around to doing the favorite item videos. I need to get some of these girls up so that I can convert. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned that, but in case you didn't know, favorite items are very expensive. To actually unlock the favorite item, you obviously have to have her maxed. You're gonna have to have her max, what's it called, bond level, so level 30. You're gonna have to have an overload gear on her, so at the very least you're gonna have to have her like at level 0 with 1 overload gear, if that makes sense. You're gonna have that. Your doll is gonna have to be fully upgraded, and then you're gonna have to have the favorite item material to upgrade that. Like, it gets really expensive, so it is pretty interesting to try to get these things up because, I don't know, it is a lot of investment, and unless they're like really, really broken, it's kind of grief. Also, you can, what's it called, convert some of the favorite items into other. That's not what I meant to click, it's this one. The ratio is 5-to-1, which is kind of grief. So, for example, I did Drake's, what's it called, favorite item because of the villain mission pass or whatnot. And once you finish Drake's, if I get Drake's materials again, so it's this, I can convert this to any other one I wanted, like any other material, at a 5-to-1 ratio. So it is pretty useful to have more than one favorite item because obviously you're going to keep getting it from the, what's it called, box. So having the other ones up is really nice. The problem is it gets really expensive, so definitely keep that in mind, which unfortunately is what I'm going to have to do. And I might just use a bunch of, what's it called, molds to try to do that, but I will leave that problem for the me of tomorrow. But yeah, I believe that is it. Hopefully I get some of these done so I can make some videos on these favorite items. But like I said before, I think I'm going to lock in with some of these molds. If you really need some of these molds, I think the best way to do that is probably go here. Nope, not here. This one? Yeah, the body mold, and just only buy these. Unfortunately, I don't think this is that efficient. Where I'm at now, I believe I should just be like stacking on one of these. Like probably just these, or maybe the pilgrim ones, trying to upgrade those as much as I can. But fuck, I really want to get some of these, what's it called, favorite items. So I might just cave in and just get a bunch of these high molds and just roll. But yeah, goddammit, I got off topic. I was talking about favorite items and I got fucking off topic. But Anyways, I believe that is it. All those favorite items are quite interesting. I think Tove is probably going to be the best out of the new batch, but Bay kind of surprised me. I was looking over her details on stream, and I was like, ugh, burst 2, 40-second cooldown. Yeah, right, I'm going to use that over like Crown or something, or the Maid, Mast, and Anchor. But we'll see. I feel like they'll probably get put on the tier list before I even get them out. So maybe I'll just take a look at the tier list, and then whichever is the top one, I will try to get their favorite item first so that I can use that. But I have a lot of catching up to do, so we will see when I get down to do that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about all the new favorite items, and in case you already have some of them, let me know how well they perform in like campaign PvP or bossing. I'm not that sure how any of these would perform in PvP, so, you know, in case you want to let me know about that, I will appreciate that. Oh, Yan is yapping, but yeah, I think that's it, so I will catch you guys later.